Here we're going to be installing the Clearview hard doors on this Ranger 1000 2018. This is what the doors look like in the box. So basically at this point we're just going to pull all the foam out of there, get the doors separated, pull out the hardware kit and seal kit, look at the instructions, and take the nets off. To start by taking the nets off, you just got a few bolts here. There's one here at the top. That T40 right there. One that's a little bit more difficult to get at is that, I think it's like a 5/16 or a similar metric size, 13mm head. And then that T40 down at the bottom. Camera will focus. And once you get those pulled, then you're able to take the nets off. Here I've gotten the nets taken off. I just put the hardware back into place, the bolts that were there. And for now I just got them slightly tight. Here's what the doors look like out of the box. Pretty sharp looking door. These are the Clearview, but should mount very similar to all the other hard doors. With every hard door comes what they call a cab sealing kit. That's this right here. I'm going to do a completely separate video on this because this is actually quite the job to do this correctly. So when you put on hard doors, you're going to want to install the seal kit. Basically it just eliminates the intrusion areas of water, air, dust, snow, just makes the cab really tight. And then the hardware pieces, so we're going to start by mounting the hinges and the striker plate, and I'll show you how that goes. So here I have the hinges installed. You can see the bottom one's there, the top one's there. The top ones you do want to leave somewhat loose, because this will need to be adjusted once the door is on and then tightened down at that point, so it should be able to slide front to back and up and down. Make sure you get one of them plastic washers on each post. That just acts as kind of a bushing between the door and the hinge. So leave the top ones loose. The bottom ones you can tighten. And as long as the posts are going forward, you really can't put them on wrong. They're kind of designed to be idiot proof, I guess. On the opposite side should look the same way, like I said, the post just going forward. At this point we can actually hang the door. Nothing will be tightened down yet other than the bottom hinge. But once the door is hung, we can kind of shift it around before we tighten it down and get everything to line up. Here I have the door mounted. As you can see, it is supposed to fit in the groove of the roll bar. But in order to get it to fit well, we actually need to take the door and slide it around. This definitely helps to have two people. By sliding it around, we're able to get it to fit into this frame more ideally. Another thing you might have to do is loosen those two bolts right there, and then you're able to slide the bottom left and right. But most of the movement's going to come from this hinge right here. As you can see, it's able to slide. It doesn't really pick it up on the camera very well, but what I'm going to do here is try to get it aligned as best as I can, and then actually tighten down them two bolts on the top hinge and see where we end up. One thing I failed to mention earlier is that needs to be removed. So there's two T40s. It's the device that holds the net bottom in place. We need to get that out of there so that the door can fit in that groove. I've now gotten the door aligned pretty good. Ended up having to go up on that hinge quite a bit. And now when I push in on the door, I have good fitment all the way around. It's getting good pressure on the seal, no gaps. It's really what you're looking for. I did have to loosen those to slide the door forward and up. So you have an adjustment point there and an adjustment point there, and between the two of those you should be able to get it pretty good. Now all we got to do is mount the striker plate, get that adjusted, and the way the adjustment works is they just have a big square in there, and you know, it can actually just kind of dance around the bolt, so go up, down, left to right, and then when you tighten it down, the washer holds pressure on it and then it's not going to move. So it looks kind of cheesy, but it actually works pretty good. Now we have that, and then last but not least, we have the door stop band. There's a bolt that's going to go in that hole, and if you haven't put the rear panel on yet, don't, because it's a lot easier to do this without the rear panel being on there. But basically there's just a bolt that this peels over so that when you open the door, like in a windstorm, it doesn't rip the door open, or at least it slows it down. So that'll be the last point. I'll get those both mounted and then show you what it looks like at the end. Here we have the finished product. The door is installed and adjusted. It took me a little bit more than I thought it was going to get it adjusted. Basically, I adjusted the plate there, and everything still didn't want to line up quite right, so I had to kind of go back and readjust the door. But once I got the striker plate where I wanted it to be, I was able to adjust the door pretty easily at that point, and everything closes really well. It's got a really good latch. And then there is this bungee up here. So you got to get the nut coming in from the back side. That's why it's easier if the back panel isn't on. And then this Torx with the washer that goes over there. This bungee just kind of peels over so that when you open the door, it kind of gives some resistance so it doesn't just swing open. And you can obviously just peel the bungee back off whenever you want to take the door off. And to take the door off, all you have to do is just lift it right off those hinges. And you can just leave the hinges on during the summer if you don't want the doors on. But just do the same thing for the other side, and pretty basic, pretty easy. It's actually a lot easier to install these doors than some of the doors they've had in the past. Feel free to like, comment, let me know if you've got any questions, subscribe as more videos are coming. Thanks.